Hey, beautiful people. Welcome to Cocktails and Conversations podcast with me, Deborah Babio. I'm a cultural connector, curator, and all round formidable force within the fashion, entertainment, and lifestyle space. This podcast blends good vibes, meaningful conversations, and a splash of inspiration. Every week, we're serving up candid chats on wellness, lifestyle, and personal growth, all with a refreshing twist. So grab your favorite cocktail or mocktail and join me along with some industry pros and close friends as we delve into the roller coaster of modern life. Cheers! In this episode of Cocktails and Conversations, I sit down with none other than the incredible poet and creative force, LionHeart. If you're familiar with his work, you know he speaks with depth, intention, and soulful eloquence. Together, we dive into the power of mindset and manifestation, how our thoughts, beliefs, and energy shape the lives we create. We unpack the power of words, the strength of belief, and the tangible steps to turning dreams into reality. From overcoming self-doubt to setting clear intentions, LionHeart shares his personal journey of transformation and the lessons he's learned along the way, and how we can all harness our inner power to live life with purpose and confidence. We have an open and thought-provoking conversation about self-belief, daily affirmations, and aligning with the right energy. If you're ready to shift your mindset, break limiting beliefs, and step into your best life, this episode is for you. So grab a drink, settle in, and let's talk about manifesting the life you truly deserve. Well, hello there.
Hello there.
Welcome to me, Casa.
Why you got that late night voice on though? Like, hello there. Hello there.
What do you mean? What's this in my voice?
You never picked up the phone to me and like, hello there. It's like, Lion, what's going on? Da-da-da-da-da. Hello there. Okay.
Well, that brings me straight into this moment. For those who don't know you, please introduce yourself.
LionHeart, I'm a poet, an artist, multidisciplinary director, model occasionally.
Absolutely.
All-round creative, man. I'm a visionary.
Amazing. And I'm so honored to have you on Cocktails and Conversations. So, should we? I don't know if I should go there.
Go where? Go where?
Before we even get to it, let me just pour you a drink.
Can we talk about this drink?
What do you mean? We didn't even talk
What are
about
the
drink.
ingredients that you put
You
in this first?
requested a pina colada.
Okay, if
and
we're
this
gonna be factual, yeah. I requested the easiest mocktail you could make. That's what I did say.
Easiest mocktail.
Okay, you wanted to go out there.
Your drink is a pina colada, right?
A good pina colada. Let's preference
You
it.
haven't even tried it. How do you know it's not a
How
good
confident
pina
are
colada?
you in this pina colada?
I'm super confident. Can you see my shake?
All right, cool. I'm not gonna say nothing in it. My face will say everything, right?
You have
My
to be
face will say
nice.
everything. I am nice. I'm gonna try it. That is the nice part.
Okay, see, I'm
Okay.
really giving it. I'm giving it.
You
I'm
really
giving
are.
It,
You really are giving it the lodge. All right, cool.
So I think you should be really nice about it. Okay.
Cool. I take it back. This is gonna be the best pina colada.
Don't give me that kind of pressure.
It's not pressure. This is me being nice. All right. What are we saying? Should have like a drum roll, right? You're the fact that you're shaking right now is giving me. All right. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like this is gonna be the best thing you've ever drank. No.
I mean, you made me sound like a health and safety clause stepping in here. So in case this like ruptures my belly.
No, it's not going to. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
I like the presentation though.
Thank you. You know me. I always do things great. I always do things like. Oh gosh, I don't think I made enough.
It's all right. You don't even like pina coladas anyway.
Don't be telling the
You
people
don't even
that.
like pina coladas. You be that. Was it tequila?
I was being basically generous to you.
I love that. Thank you very much for your consideration.
Cheers. To
Cheers.
us.
Cheers to us.
But seriously, thank you so much for coming on my podcast and wanted to talk to you about, in this day and age, just living in your mindset and living in a world where what they say, mind over matter, right? And most of, everything is all about positive mindset, living through life, in this life, that's life in.
Life in, yeah.
Life be life in. I just wanted your take on, because I always know you as, I go on your Instagram and you're always positivity, and it struck a chord with me. So I wanted to have your take on how you got there, how you navigate life through and what you do, what are some of your tactics?
Jeez, all right, where to begin? Should I start from like modern day LionHeart or like maybe the 10 to 12 years ago?
You can start from wherever you think is best.
I didn't always have the skills or the talents. I think, being raised in my upbringing, my environment, my parents didn't really demonstrate that they knew how to find a resourcefulness of dealing with their mental challenges. I'll put it that way, right? Parents are Rastafarian, so they naturally have this kind of righteous peacefulness energy.
Right.
But it wasn't communicated, and so this is what you do should these things arrive. I had to kind of pick up along the way, like I was playing like an RPG game, like a role-playing game. Like, I'm going to pick this from this person, I'm going to take that from this person.
Okay.
And I became a voracious reader, man, from the ages of like 19 and 20, because I had realized that my friends and my family, my immediate environment, they didn't have the
tools.
Thank
Yeah.
you, because what I was going to say
The
was going to sound
tools.
so
The
rude. You
tools.
must have
No.
read it in my face. You know what I mean? They didn't have the tools.
The
They
tools.
didn't have the tools.
They didn't have the tools.
And I could sense that
Right.
and knew that. And that's when I became very cognizant that my environment wasn't conducive to who I wanted to become or to equip myself with the tools that would enable me to become that person and be protected whilst I'm there. So I was reading crazy. And I think, books like Mastery by Robert Greene, things that allow me to understand someone's autobiographical understandings. Like, post someone's reflection and introspection, you can gain so much of the wisdoms that help them get to a particular level. So once I kind of like digested everyone's books, I was like, cool, this works for me. Cool, that works for me. And I began to journal every day, like from the ages of maybe 20 to 37 now. Like, I've been writing consistently. And it gives you this intellectual itinerary on the things that affect you, on the things that are or not conducive
Right.
to progressing or advancing your space or wellness and well-being. And many of us are kind of scared to have those conversations. Like, again, being a poet, I have to think about my thoughts
Right.
every single day, whether I want to or not. I'm on the train, I'm in the car, wherever it is, I'm thinking about how are my thoughts bringing me or advancing me to a place that I can find peace mentally. Because once I'm there, I can operate my best. If I'm not in a peaceful headspace, things start to get disrupted.
And what do you mean by when you're not in a peaceful headspace? What takes you out of that positive?
How deep we gonna go? Are we talking professionally?
This
You
is a
talking
safe
professionally?
space.
You know what I mean?
Space.
Let me drink
Okay,
my
yeah.
drink.
Let's take a taste. Let's do the judge.
So professionally, we were talking professionally. We were talking
So-
professionally.
so-
Can you? No, but can you as well? Because it's gonna make me look so bad right now. If you don't just have a little,
Okay.
yeah.
Just a disclaimer.
I beg there's sound effects. I beg.
That's not my best cocktail.
Did you see how I handled it though? Don't leave me hanging now. I beg you don't. I beg. You see how I handled it? I just put it down.
Okay.
Put it down.
Okay. We will.
Yo, I'm so
I don't know how
sorry.
you drink
Yo,
creamy stuff.
but do you see how I put it down so slick? I didn't even say nothing. You drew me out. You just started laughing.
But this is it. You can't be good at everything. It's fine.
And you can progress at being a club maker.
I'll figure it out.
Okay, thank you.
To be honest,
Try
I'm
someone else
I'm a
first,
perfectionist,
and then
so
call me.
I'm a people pleaser. I'll get there. I'll
Okay,
definitely get there. But I was saying you were talking about positivity and mindset, and basically how sometimes when you come out of alignment of that, and I just wanted to ask you what brings you out of alignment. What is it? Because like we said, life is be life in sometimes, and it's hard to always stay positive. It's not. I think it's positive mindset, and it is. Everything's going to be fine, and that's great. But sometimes, the natural order is sometimes life does that slap you upside the head,
Differently,
and just
that-
it's
But I've had a few, man. Like, just from being a teenager, I didn't have the foundational structure or solidarity of self-esteem. And I think once you're aware of that, like me being in particular environments, me being around more confident people, made me realize there's a foundation here which isn't strong, okay? And that, unfortunately for me at that time, it led to like depression, anxiety in a variety of ways, and it lowers your confidence. It lowers the frequency of your brain to think about how do you come out of this. I just accepted this was who I was, and that became my identity. And that identity, unfortunately, galvanized a level of self-hate. to which I was obsessive about. It was like, this was the truth. If I hate myself, this is the validity that I need. No one else can tell me any different.
Right.
And that became a really toxic terrain to live within, to exist within. And I think post, when I was 2023, I hated myself so much that I couldn't stand thinking the way I thought. And that was again, I don't encourage people to reach that level because there are different side effects that you may experience. But for me, reaching that threshold is like, enough's enough. I can't be this way. I can't look at myself in the mirror. I can't stay in my room for like X amount of months and just not leave. Like, I have to do something about it. So at that point, you see, I'm getting a little choked up, girl, bring me there, you know.
It's a safe space.
Yeah.
It's a safe space.
I mean, pina coladas will say, you know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Okay.
That would have maybe given you a different
Fully
angle.
fully for real. I might have made you make me another one. No, but like at that point, the self-hate was too much, and I needed something out of that. And poetry, fortunately for me, was my medium of introspection, of, you know, excavating the parts of myself which I didn't like, and then turning it into like a blueprint. Like, I always thought my poems were like this tool for me to reconfigure my mind and reconfigure my identity, and it helped because I could be anything in the poems. I could reckon with myself and be like, this can change. So alter different words. Language is the transformational tool of humanity. I believe that. And having a sort of autonomy over the language you use changes who you are internally and therefore externally too.
I totally agree. And I think, like you're saying, not saying you have to hit rock bottom, but that you have to want to change. Someone can tell you, think positive, everything's going to be fine. It's all going to be well. And that's all well and true, but you have to deep inside yourself want it so much that apart from anything else to actually make that change. And I feel
100%.
like that is, for me anyway, I've been a self-proclaimed perfectionist, people pleaser, and sometimes when things don't go my way or when life is really just lifing, I can go into that woe is me, why is me. I can sit in my house and not speak to anyone. The phone, as much as I've got friends and family,
I'm with you. Yeah.
you've got people you can reach out to, but that's that loneliness is just there. And I just want to tell people that you can come out of it. You can. And don't get me wrong, it's easier said than done, but you have to want it. You have to see something beyond and something for yourself that you step by step, little by little. And like you said, words is very much, and I do the same. I try and listen to podcasts. I'm not much of a reader as yourself, or a writer.
You sure?
I do like, I think it's more the titles and the colours that draw me to want to read.
Yeah.
But some of them I have read, definitely, or I have listened to their audiobooks. But it's very much the conversations or hearing people, like, you know, when they were at their peak and how did they come back from it? What really brought them to that realization, and how can you know, because everyone's different. What works for someone is not always going to work for you. But I also feel like the power of words is very good, and what you tell yourself. And you know, this brain is so, our mind is so powerful. I think it's beyond what we can even comprehend. But there is a form of reprogramming. When you do listen to these ones who are before you, any successful person you've listened to, you understand that is the mind is first, right? And trying to get over those hurdles and obstacles is very much, you know, telling yourself it's possible, even if you don't believe it.
Just tell yourself.
Even if you don't,
because you can
know.
then believe it later on. Like,
Yeah.
and this is probably like the fallacy we teach ourselves, that everything has to be instantaneous. Like, I know it took me 8 years, and I was conscious at the end of the 8 years that I'm no longer the same person that I was. And I think if I know that it takes a certain amount of time, cool, it took me 8 years to change who I was. It might take me 2 next time, because I've learned the skills, I've learned the discipline, I know the mindset, I know the system, I know the flow. Like, just get yourself to a certain point of consistency, and it's that same word everyone's using, consistency, but it is keeping the promises to yourself. Because most of the time we'll say, I'm going to be this. And then tomorrow comes and you're like, don't really feel like it. My environment doesn't help me achieve the things I want to do. And we make all these irrational excuses to support the thing we actually don't want in our life. So I totally hear you. And I think language coupled with support systems and ecosystems, changes everything. My friends, and it sounds negative every time I say it to certain people, but like my friends have changed every 2 to 3 years. And it's not out of them being bad people. It's out of the necessity of me to incubate, protect, and ensure my future trajectory into who I want to become, not who my friends want me to become. Because we can get into a space of like, again, comfort, man. I love the way you are as this. And we want you to stay as you are, Deborah. Don't grow into anything else because I love this person of you. But no, you're here witnessing art evolving. And should you continue to entertain my previous version, you can't be here anymore.
So what would you say to someone who, exactly what you're saying, they've got a group of friends, they're comfortable in who they are, they're set in their ways, but their friends that they do have are wanting better for them, are wanting more for them, but for them, they are channeling, you should love me the way I am, you should love me how I am. Wanting to encourage them, but not obviously, it's that.
That's a hard place to be in, man. Like, what would you say to someone?
God, it is a challenge, but I feel like you have to give that person space, but also know that as long as you're coming from a good place, as the friend of the person, knowing that you're coming from a good place and want better for them, as much as you do want to, let me say, want them to grow.
You
want
to be supportive,
right? It's a double-edged sword because, of course, you have to accept your friends and your family for who they are.
Sometimes.
We're going to come to that because for when you can see better or want better for them, it's a hard one to see them do something like we just said. The person has to want it for themselves, right? But it's also a thing. Your environment and your support system also have to support you in that, in terms of wanting better for you, in order to help you do that. And to come back to the question, it's hard in terms of what do you say to them? I think you have to get to a point where deep inside yourself you've done all you can, you've shared all your resources, you've given all the networks, the channels, the pathways, and then you have to let go.
This is where we might have a little friction. We might have a little friction.
Let go, because the person has to want it for themselves. If they're in that point of their journey, they are stuck in that realm of not wanting, maybe not, that's the wrong word to say, not wanting to grow, but they are comfortable in where they're at. But I also feel like they might not be comfortable. They just don't know how, or they don't know.
We've got to contextualize this, all right? we got to make up some imaginary people or something, because you know what? Like, you are one of my most cherished and championed friends, all right?
Thank you.
And I think
I appreciate.
I would like to say that through the conversations we've had, there is an intimacy of who you are that stays in my mind, all right? So I wouldn't apply my approach to other friends with you, right? Because I understand that you need bespoke love rather than a cookie cut template, because I'll try this with A, I'll try this with B, let me try this with Deborah. I wouldn't approach you that way, because from what I know of you, there's a certain dexterity with my communication that will resonate or won't resonate with you, all right? Some people I might be really tough on, right? Others I might smooth them with a pina colada, open them up a little piece, you know, maybe just a little piece. But that's where you have to know the person who you're talking to as much as you can. Because I remember listening to something and it was like, you've been loving your wife the way you want to love your wife, but you never asked them how they want to be loved by you. And I'm thinking, when I talk to my friend, am I telling them the things that makes me feel confident? Like, oh, cool, I told you and you just didn't listen. Or am I finding the language and the application that is going to best resonate with who you are and how you receive things, when you want to receive things? That's important. So if we contextualize it, and I know this person, I'm going to wait for the right day. I might even sneak them out to like get some food, get them fed real nice, and be like, so like, you know what, there's something I want to tell you about. And I'll ask if there's space now, rather than calling them randomly and be like, they could be running around. If they're like you, they might be on a plane somewhere. Do you know what I mean? And there are wrong times to broach that conversation or transformation and pushing themselves far. Because you have to remember, right? It's like a It's like heartbreak. The moment you are entering that phase, you now have to sacrifice the version of yourself you was once happy with. And you're asking your friends now who may be very comfortable with the self-development that they've done, the books that they might read, the podcasts and all that stuff, and saying, hey, you can be more.
Yeah.
They might just want to chill for a bit at this level. And now you're triggering because you're saying to some extent, or it might be received as they don't feel enough in front of you, you know? So contextually, we got to figure out how we're approaching it.
No, I agree. I agree. And I understand what you're saying, but I think it's also a form of wanting to rise together and see better for people, you know, and
But
wanting
you know,
to.
you have to leave some people behind.
But this
I
is
don't know what accent that was, by the way, but like, you know, at some point.
This is what I'm saying. When do you know when to leave them behind? When do you know when to say it's enough? You've done all you can. You've done everything that you, as a friend, as a family member, as a colleague, whoever you are to them. You've done all you can. When is that point where you say, okay?
So you know I've been working out recently. Doesn't look like it just yet, but
It
give me a year and a half. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get them gains.
You're looking good.
Like,
You're looking
oh
good.
man, I know that when I'm on a treadmill, if I step off this treadmill, knowing I've got more energy to walk around that room, walk on that gym, I'm gonna be upset at myself. I should step off that treadmill, collapse somewhere, and be like, I did it. I did everything I could give. There are some friends that you don't even want to get to that point with because you realize they're not worthy of you exhausting yourself. That's hard because then you might reflect and think, did I love them enough? But I don't think love has anything to do with it. I think self-preservation is something that we overlook sometimes with our friends to the point of our own detriment. Now, I can offer myself to people who, like you said, if they want change and they're knocking at the door for it, they're calling you saying, hey, I'm not happy with how things are, cool. If we are noticing that someone should elevate, evolve, work on themselves, and not prepared to hear it, I'm jumping off the treadmill and I'm gonna go and work on a different exercise to feed myself rather than exhaust myself to the point I can't even help me anymore because trying to help that person is debilitating. So you know when you are depleted and it's painful and it hurts because you're just trying to be of support and help, you didn't have to do what they say about the because you're on planes a lot, right? You be flying, innit?
I like to jet set.
You like to
I
jet
like
set?
to jet set. What can I say?
Get you some air support, some airline sponsorships.
Some,
A little something.
Air miles, just collecting.
You're gonna do this in a private jet next time. You know what I'm saying?
Amen to
Come
that.
on,
Amen
come
to
on.
that.
Bring me for the next season.
We're manifesting.
Jeez.
Mindset.
Yeah, but you just gotta feel it, man.
Yeah.
And I think we love people in varying ways, right? And that's not necessarily a bad thing. And I think at that point where you can look at yourself and be like, I did everything. I can walk away now because I did everything to what that person in your eyes deserved and to what you deserve to step away with too. Because your integrity is just as important as their evolution, if not more. Yeah.
But in retrospect, what if let's turn it on the head. Let's say, like you were saying about your group of friends changing and evolving. Have you had a case where people then thought, "Oh, you thought you're better than us, so you're moving away from us"?
Ooh, all right. Do you know what? Props to my friends. Yeah, props to my friends. I don't think anyone has verbalized that to me.
Right.
I think they may have communicated it from my presumed.
Right.
The presumption I have is there may have been a level of insecurity, right? I know I have this insatiable, audacious ambition to achieve and become more. And there was a point circa 2017, and I came back from like touring LA and DC and New York, and everyone started calling me Hollywood. And I was just like, this is funny, this is cool, I can deal with it. And after a while, I was like, it doesn't sound like it's a compliment anymore. It kind of sounds like you're trying to bring me to a place where me stretching myself has now made you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that was hard to deal with. The ignorant person in me was like, they don't know me. I'm about to, do you know what I mean? on my flexing. But again, you got to kind of develop that confidence because when the people that you love or have a lot of affection for now become your resistances towards yourself, you got to find a grace, man, to be like, I've been there. Because listen, come on, man. I've been doing this 12 years. There have been brethrens of mine who have done a madness, and I've been sitting there like, oh man, I just want that brand didn't want to pick me. All these things, right?
Yeah.
But you get to the point when I can realize that in someone else, I realize that person just wants that for themselves too. So it's not envy, it's not jealousy, it's just their self-worth is like, I want that too for me. I'm now at a place I can celebrate my friends doing madness. You know what I mean? Coming back from where? Come back from retreats, Wessa? Wessa? Where were you there? Where were you there? Adrian? You know what I'm saying?
I was at a retreat.
A really nice one.
Supporting a friend. And you know, this is also like we're saying in terms of
Can I cut you? I'm so sorry, yeah.
Go
Like
on.
seeing you smile from the experiences you've had makes me smile. But there are
love that
points
for
where
us.
some people
Yes.
they get hurt because they see other people's joy
Yes.
as like a conflict to themselves. So when I sense that from my friends,
Yes.
I realize I got to pull back a little bit and let them grow. Like I had to grow to a
Yeah.
place of maturity,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, the retreat looked good, man. The retreat looked real nice.
I mean, on that note, I don't know if it was Oprah or someone that said this quote: "You can't be friends with someone who wants your life." I don't know. Do you think that is true?
Did Oprah call you when?
I mean,
Damn me, I got to figure out. You know what I mean? I want to meet Oprah.
I know Oprah. I know Oprah. Me and her have, you know, we've been in the same room. We've had conversations, but we digress.
I see you. Okay, so I'm gonna answer that, but I'm gonna
Yes.
start by saying this isn't to distinguish or differentiate me from the rest of my social circles. But I've always had this feeling, and hopefully you can vouch for me. That I'm not pressurizing you to vouch for me.
No.
But whenever I've elevated, I wanted to bring my people up with me.
Yes.
That's how I
Absolutely.
move, right?
Absolutely.
And
Yeah, I don't want to cut you off, but that's absolutely like hands down. Since we're not going to tell the story of how we met, but
Wouldn't
okay. We're not going to tell the story of how we met, but since you've been in my life, the elevation and the way you support is on a different level. I have to
Feelings
give you
mutual.
that and give you your flowers on that. Like that support system, yeah. I wish that for everybody. I really do.
so I'm like, if that's how I am, that's how we should move. And if I notice people aren't moving that way around me, again, the retraction has to be swift. Because, like you said, you're a people pleaser at times.
Yep.
I have that quality. I think it's really great to have it. It's bad when it's applied to people who are undeserving of that energy. And also when you consider yourself a part of the people who are undeserving of that energy.
I know, but it hurts so much.
It hurts. It hurts. It hurts.
so much.
But I've come to the realization that I need to love me in that process, even when it doesn't feel good. I did it anyway. Like I would have conversations with my friends and I'm like, oh, Lion, you cut off this romantic side of you used to say you would do this and you do this. I'm like, because I'm done. I'm done. And their argument would be, but that's who you are. It feels good to be that way, right? Like one of my telltale signs, if I know I like someone, like I'll be randomly writing lists of where I want to take them. And then I'm like, oh man, I know what this means. I like them. Do you know what I mean? Like there are things which you are like earmarked signs of you like this person, you feel healthy being romantically inclined to do things. And I think the thing comes back to wellness as well, right? Do you feel good doing these things for yourself and for your friends?
Right.
If it doesn't, if there's a hesitance, if there's a reluctance, I'm not really trying to do it. I'm sorry.
I hear you. I think to touch on that also, in this day of social media, everyone's showing their best selves or their best reels, right?
Yeah.
Or their best slices of their life. How do you stay grounded in your mindset to know that when it's your time, you will shine? Because I feel it's hard. It's easier said than done to say, like, you know, obviously we're going to support people. And like you said, you touched on it. It's like, it's not envy or jealousy. It's obviously you wanting better for yourself. You wanting more for yourself. For me, I've been told a lot that I want too much or I'm too ambitious and I don't see that as a negative thing, but I feel like society sometimes makes it seem like wanting better or wanting more means you're somehow too much or not deserving, but I feel like we should be okay with average. But then again, you could say, what is average, you know? What is someone's definition of ambition? Ambition or success to someone could be like, okay, they've got a family, they've got a roof over their head, and they're happy.
How do you feel when someone says you want too much? Because you just made it sound like such a smooth thing. And I'm like, I couldn't be, if I'm in a conversation with you and someone has the audacity to be like, oh, Deborah, you want too much. I'm either going to leave or I'm going to pull that person or you to a side and be like,
I know, because it's happened so many times. I feel like I just scathe over it because for me, I don't know, sometimes I do question, and that's again that mindset manifesting, really being in your brain and your mind. It's like, maybe do I want too much?
Yeah.
Should I just be happy with what I have? Why can't I just settle now? Or why can't I just be happy with what I have now? Why do I want the things I want, right? So I definitely do. That is something that goes on in my mind. That's something, the quiet moments I have in myself, sitting by myself and just overthinking. I overthink a lot. And for me, I think I try not to let it get me down, but I do sometimes think about it.
So that's what takes me from being grounded. If people around me, I'm feeling it right now. I'm trying to control, trying to control, bring it in. Like, if people around me don't have the tact of compassion, the eloquence of execution about their opinions or perspectives that affect me directly or indirectly, I'm prone to leave, because in some ways I'm a social architect of my environment, right? Even with my family, and my family know this about me, right? If you aren't conducive to the environment that's going to allow me to thrive and therefore you to thrive, I'm removing you. Without question.
Even with family?
With family. Wow. Lord knows. Wow. There's a lot of them who know. Yeah? And the reason that is because my loyalty, and this comes across however people who've had traumatic experience will know what I'm talking about, like, I'm not loyal to my blood. Right. Because my blood isn't loyal to me. Right. Right? And when you can make that clarification, that self-awareness, you know how to move, you know how to operate. It's like when someone does you wrong. Yeah. I'm actually not mad that you did something wrong after a while. I'm actually grateful that you've done it and I know who you are now, or who you were in that moment. So, you know what I mean? Like, character is everything. So I'm more loyal to the sovereignty of our social bond. Right? Okay. Which doesn't mean that you can't be forgiven. I always believe in the resolve. But if you are constantly disrupting my foundation with what you think I shouldn't be chasing, with what you think I shouldn't be aspiring towards, if you think that being Hollywood is actually a negative thing, when really I'm not trying to be who I was when I was 18, 14, 10, I can't have you around me.
And that's for family.
That's my family. That's my friends. That is everyone. Every you're gonna get me heated. Everyone. And I probably have the privilege of saying that because I've seen family do things to family that I'm not happy with, I'm not proud of, and they know this about me. And I think there are people who I'm happy to forgive and be cool with, and there are others that just add, wood to the fire. And I appreciate them for being that purpose in my life. Like, I wouldn't be me if it wasn't for certain people in my family who carried on a certain way. Right. Like, when I perform, there's a ferocity there, which is like, cool, this is how I express my emotions in that medium, in that platform. But if I don't create boundaries that are respected.
That's a key word there. That's a key word there, boundaries.
If I don't respect or establish the boundaries that these other people aren't respecting, I won't respect myself. So how can they?
Setting boundaries is so key, I feel like. And like you're saying, respecting yourself enough to, and it's tough, especially with family. It's tough to, be like, okay, you affect my energy, so I can't do this, or I can only do this. And them seeing you in a certain way, it is challenging, especially when you've got, a big family and there's different occasions, birthdays, Christmas, you have to be, you can't miss those things, or you, wow.
By the way, I love my family, but I'm just very selective with the people that I stay around. I just got to say that. I love my family.
I'm sure people have got like family dynamics. No one's got a perfect family. Maybe some people out there have, But from what I know, no one's got a perfect family, and there's a little bit of a compromise. But
Yeah.
boundaries is a big as a key word. I must say, and just setting those, not to be too forthright, because like we were saying, like maybe they're not there yet in their journey, or they're
Exactly.
not.
Yeah.
You have to give grace as well and understanding, but you do have to, on this journey of living your best life, living in a positive mindset, you have to set those boundaries in order to, whether you look selfish, whether you look a certain way, you have to put yourself first, because that's the way to get your mind in gear to go to where you're going. And in that, the goals and the attributes you've set for yourself as well, how do you set goals? How do you challenge yourself to grow?
Oh man, there's a lot I want to say on this one. There's a lot. There's a lot. You know me, innit? This is my world.
I do.
Setting goals is my
You're
world.
the G on
Oh,
that, I must say. You've taught me a lot, to be honest.
do you know? I love strategizing. I love strategizing. I remember Les Brown used to say, if you write a list of ideas every day, it could be 5 one day, it could be 15 one day. He goes, one idea can change your life. So for me, that's my method. Every day, I'm figuring out what things could I come up with, what creative projects could I do, what initiatives can I involve myself. That's what kind of spearheaded me doing residencies of architecture practice, like just thinking of where value could be accrued or curated. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
see that. I
come
see what
on,
you
now,
did
I'm
there.
like,
I see what you did there.
oh my days, these voices are gonna make me look so stupid, but anyway, it's who I am.
No, it's good.
Like, I love seeing myself as the other because that person is bolder, they're more expansive, they're more, they have a level of neuroplasticity that it's just like we can be anything, we can change. So I love generating ideas and objectives, but getting there for me feels so nourishing. It's like my mouth is salivating at the idea of like we can become what?
Yeah.
And if you tell me, oh cool, I want to do this, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool, Deborah wants like I get so enthusiastic about the potentiality of becoming something else, reaching a particular echelon, level, apex. Like that for me is such a driving force of my passion and my identity. So once I know where you want to go, all I have to do now is strategize the steps backwards to be like, how do we get leverage from each of the touch points that take you there?
Right.
And figuring out the touch points. So let's play a quick game.
Yeah, go on.
So let's say, for instance, I wanted to achieve a residency with the United Nations, whoever, right? Something far out there, right?
Not really. We're manifesting. We're manifesting.
Right. And it's like, okay, I would have to work backwards to be like, what is important within my practice that is also important within the United Nations remit, all right? And I would line my list, and I would line their list, and once there are crossovers, I'm circling those because that is our mutual alignment. It's not, I want to do these things and let me throw it to the United Nations somehow and be like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
It's where do we have synchronicity and alignment for us to say, this is mutually beneficial. And once I know what those things are, I start with the easiest because every incremental step you take is a step of incredibleness.
Amen.
And I'm like, cool, I'm just gonna leverage those little steps until I get momentum. And the momentum is what's not gonna make me knock on their door, they're gonna knock on mine.
Amen.
All right. And I really believe that momentum is like magnetism, you know. So when I do set goals, I think of what is the strategy towards getting momentum, where it makes that goal an offering rather than a grab for an opportunity,
Right.
which is a mindset thing.
Yes.
All right. Some people thrive in just knocking the door. I've knocked many a doors, but I've learned that this stage of my life right now, with all the effort and energy and professionalism that I put out, it's reached a level of magnetism, which makes the necessary 5 or 10 steps gravitate that opportunity towards me rather than trying to scrap for it.
No, I hear you. And it's exactly what you say, they say prayer without works is dead. You have to do the work. You have to, there's no point setting a goal and thinking it's just going to come, right? You have to look at what is it that's going to get me there? What is it? How is it? How am I going to do this? What steps do I have to get? Who do I need to speak to? What books do I have to read? What podcasts do I have to? Who do I need to emulate or see what their journey is? Like they're saying, it's not about copying; it's about imitating really shadowing, you know, who has done what I'm trying to do, who has been who I want to be, and how can I be them? Even, you know, like Bruce Wayne and what was it called? Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Yeah.
They're two different things. Like you're saying, I'm not where I want to be yet, but how do I
Get to
get
that.
there?
Yeah.
You know, the same with Clark. I'm using superheroes.
I know,
but,
usually,
you know, like there's always this. You have to. There's a sense of, yes, you might not be there yet, but there has to be that notion of you have to see it. That's what they say, seeing is believing, right? You have to see that it's possible, and then what do you have to do to get there? And you have to be strategic. You can't just wake up and want it and be like it's gonna happen. You have to take some steps, and it's gonna be hard. It's not easy. This mindset, being positive, living your best life means you got to do some work. You got to really be resilient. Consistency and resilience. And they are so hard. Like I know sometimes I do battle myself in terms of like people saying, well, if it's for you, it'll be easy, it'll be smooth. I was like, yeah.
These people can't be my friends. I'm sorry. I'm so.
It has been said. Oh, if it's for you, you know, you won't have to fight. You won't have to do. It will just be smooth. And sometimes I'm like, but God, I'm always. Why is it always? Why me? Why me? But I have to really bring myself back to center of mindset. Manifest. I can see it. I know. I desire it, so therefore it's possible. Right? I desire it, so therefore it's possible. So, what do I have to do? How do I pull back? And sometimes it means taking a step back. Sometimes it means quitting your job and taking a lesser pay to move forward. I've done that in my career to people like, how do you get to where you get to? It's like, I've made some moves that it's like, some people look at me like, Des, what are you doing? And it's
But you're
like,
a woman of faith.
Amen. That I definitely am.
And that shifts everything.
Yeah.
If you're operating from a person who's worshipping their doubts and insecurities, you become that person and times 10. But you work within the world. You know what I'm saying? You work within the world of the unknown.
Yeah.
Things that don't have to be proven because you believe them already. When you move with that energy, everything is possible because you figure out ideas.
Yeah.
Most people who are stuck with their goals and their objectives are operating in my mindset, because everyone has their own view, from a place of, I can't make this happen. Not, how do I make this happen? Like, why is this happening? Not, what do I need to do to figure it out? Like, there's a shift because I believe this is for me. I believe this isn't for me. It's going to make you act in two completely different ways. And as I've seen you move, grace these streets of London, right? You move in a way where the world does magnetize around you, right? There are conversations we've had recently, and I'm championing you in the way you're saying, like, things are now aligning themselves for you. Because of what? You've done the work to be a woman of faith, and these things are coming to you naturally. And if there are people who don't believe in God, have faith in yourself.
Definitely.
And sometimes that is believing the things which aren't here yet.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Definitely. And it's helpful. Let's say, like, yes, you don't believe in God, you don't believe that, but there's energy. There's like you said, gravitating, magnetism. There is things that you just, I don't know. You have to wake up, put one foot in front of the other. Yes, you've got your strategy. Yes, you've got your goals. Yes, you've got you're reading all the books. You're doing all the things, but you also have to show up. You have, even if it's like you've done the list, you're going through the step by step and you're seeing nothing. You have to, tomorrow could be that day. Tomorrow could be that day. And don't get me wrong, there's sometimes an element of like, I've been praying, I've been really being positive, but nothing's really happening. And like you're saying, 8 years. Are you willing to do 8 years? Are you willing to do 10 years? Are you willing to do 12 years? You have to really believe that what you're trying to manifest, the life that you want for yourself, is possible. Otherwise, you're counterproductive. You're thinking, you're writing all these affirmations, doing all these things, but you don't really believe, right? You're not really doing the work. You're doing a disservice to yourself because you're basically saying that in one hand, I am doing it, but on another hand, you're really just lying to yourself. And I keep saying it's easier said than done, and life is not easy.
It's not.
It's really not easy. And you can have all the money in the world, but like we've
still
seen
alone.
it countless times. People that have money, there's still their challenges. There's still those bouts of, that it is about the mind. It's about your self-belief and how you're going to really navigate and challenge yourself. For me, it's about words. I'm not the best writer, but I do love a quote. I don't know if you follow me on socials, but I do
yeah,
love a
come
quote.
on now. We know you're quote queen.
But there is who don't follow me on socials. If you get to know, but I love a quote, and on my wall I've printed out multiple quotes, which is close to my bed, and I can literally see every morning, positive affirmations from what if to even if to even this morning things were not going my way. Things were really not going my way, but you have to really be like, there's a reason.
Yeah.
You have to come out fighting all the time. You have to show that you're willing to really fight for the life you say you want.
100%.
Fight for
The
the
other
life you
life
say
that you
you
don't
want.
want is fighting for you.
Yeah.
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 And I got
literally.
quotes on my wall all the time. And again, are you creating the contextual environment that you want for yourself? There's a quote on my wall which says, a pro is dedicated each day to defeat their own self-sabotage.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Say that again.
That's by Stephen Pressfield. For it makes it sound like it's my quote. A professional, is dedicated each day to defeat their own self-sabotage. And because we're talking about quotes and affirmations, like when I was 18, so unconfident, so insecure, lowest self-esteem I could even imagine. I had, and back in the days you could write a quote on your phone screensaver. This is like ages ago. Ages ago. Like I think it was an Ericsson phone I had. Like, I'm talking way back, right? And I remember it was go for it. You've got nothing to lose but fear. So I kind of operated for the next 3 years of like purposely wanting to lose the fear of whatever it was. So like quotes change everything, man. There you are. Equipment, they're your weaponry for the world that sometimes conspires against you. Like words, language, they are cognitive development tools, man.
Would you say that's your favorite quote?
It's the one that most transformed me until I was 21, which then changed to push yourself to find yourself. That, for me, reaches everything.
Amazing.
Professional, relationship, family, money, creativity, push yourself to find yourself.
Nice. For me, mine, I would say, is no one is you, and that's your power. Like, everyone can do the same thing in this day and age. Everyone's a this, everyone's a that, everyone's something, right?
Yeah.
You're in a world where there's how many billions of people. Someone's gonna do something that you want to do. Someone's gonna, but until I got it that no one is you, and that's your power. That is my driving force. Like whatever I'm doing, I've got the Deborah way of how that person's gonna receive it.
Yeah.
I've got that special thing that they need. Yes, they've seen it 1,000 times, but the way I do it is what's going to resonate for them. The way I do it is what's going to be making it that next level. And that's how I've really just living life right now, because life be life, but you
does.
also have to show that life that you also have some grit and some force behind you, that you want the life you say you want. And it's definitely easier said than done. That mindset piece is very, very key
Very
to really
challenging.
transforming yourself, transforming the life. And like when I look back at my childhood and where I am now, I'm like, Deborah, is this you? Is this you? And I'm like, yeah, it is. It really is, because I wanted this. I've fought for this, and I'm so proud of me.
We're all proud of you. We are. Not with the pina coladas, but we're proud of you.
Oh, why are you bringing
We're
these
proud of
pina
you.
coladas?
I can see it in the corner of my eyes. I'm just
Man.
no, but it is, and we see the work you do.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that is a great monochrome example for others to then also see the work they can do. Do you know what I mean? So anything that you achieve, we know things are possible now.
Amen.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Oh man, this has been a fabulous conversation. I want to end with, basically, I know we're talking about positivity, thinking about mindset. For me, part of that is having uncomfortable conversations, right? With yourself, with friends. What would you say in terms of mindset, manifesting the life that you have now, the life that you're building for yourself? What uncomfortable conversations have you had to have, if any? Maybe you don't have that you've had with yourself, with family, have you had anything that where you're like, okay, this is what moved you, or this is what you had to do to then get to that mindset?
I've had some really great years, man. Some really great years. And I think there was a time, no, I know this moment like you wouldn't believe. And I'm in a hotel in Chicago, and it was crazy. Like, I just love being in that kind of atmosphere. Like, Chicago's like second to my love for New York City, right? And I had arguably the best creative professional year of my career.
Right.
I've been doing this 12 years, man. And then, like, you know, when people say like they had epiphanies or whatever, like the silence spoke to me, and it was like, cool, like God was saying, I've done all these things for you, but like now I need more from you.
Right.
And it hit me. It was like, cool, I can't just coast on the blessings, man. I've got to be the blessing.
Oof.
And that means I have to work hard, even when it's not easy, even when it's challenging, even when it doesn't pay off. I've got to continue working hard. And that is, for me, was a way of saying, as a person who's given all of his life, how can I give God if I'm not giving to me first? There's nothing worth giving. So become the thing which is a gift of God. So yeah, that was a tough conversation to have.
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that.
I know. I don't even know what I'm
I
like,
know. That's
gonna do.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
I love this. No, I appreciate you so much. There's literally no words. I'm not a wordsmith like you, but just know how much you mean to me.
It's mutual.
Just know that I appreciate this safe space that we have for each other. And this beautiful conversation we just had.
Yeah, man.
It was really, 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 it was a blessing. It was a real blessing. Thank you for listening to this episode of Cocktails and Conversations with LionHeart. I hope you got something from it. Live your best lives. Thank you for joining me on this week's episode of Cocktails and Conversations. I hope you enjoyed the chat and found some inspiration to carry with you. If you like this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It really helps us reach more amazing listeners just like you. And let's keep the conversation going. Follow us on social media for updates, behind-the-scenes moments, and a community that's all about personal growth and good vibes. Cheers!